Hello, viewers, and welcome to the inaugural TennCast.
Buenos noches, gringos.
This is going to be short and sweet. We plan to do these once a week, depending on scheduling. But we wanted to give you guys a little bit of extra content throughout the week. We know how much you crave it. We thought, what can we do to solve the world's problems as two mostly white guys? And the answer is obviously to start a podcast.
We love to talk.
So we're here. We're going to be talking about what we're up to, our latest stuff that we're trying, what's planned for TennCom, and just tennis news, tennis happenings, and anything else you guys might want to talk about. So after this podcast, we're going to be taking fan questions, fan suggestions. What do you guys want to see in future podcasts?
Are we going to do a pinned comment, and then they ask questions on the pinned comment?
I think that seems like a very reasonable thing to do. And we'll also pick our favorite funny comments to give shout-outs in future podcasts as well. So make sure you drop the stupidest, funniest jokes.
A lot of you are pretty funny.
So without further ado, Beckett, what is TennCom up to this week, and what can we look forward to coming out in the future?
So this week it's all about Slinko prototype testing. So we're working on the V2 Blackout. We've got that in-house, and a new string, which I'm pretty sure you're going to edit this so slowly that I can in fact say it's confidential soft pink. So we're working on those right now. We just cracked open the Diadem 100 for the first time yesterday, and it was surprisingly good. What did you think?
I liked it a lot more than you did, I think.
Well, I was having a day of days yesterday.
Do we want to talk about our recent record, given that your live streams, we could call those our first podcast, you did bespeech my name and said that you were a much higher level player. Let's talk about the last couple times we've met on the tennis court here, Beckett.
Well, it only last. The doubles doesn't count because Ali. So we played some doubles with Ali and Mitch, and Mitch, he's the kind of guy to hit Ali directly in the throat with the ball.
That is true.
And so Ali was basically gave up and left me to defend on my own.
I do want to say, in Beckett's defense, I thought it was going to be Beckett and I versus Mitch and Ali, and so I encouraged Ali to take a long nap and only woke her up right before the match started. When I got there, I found out that Beckett would have to go in there, so it took a while for her to warm up and get ready, but nonetheless, I really just put on a clinic. And
Simon's volleys have been absolutely prime time, and as soon as he switched to the SX 300 Tour, it was like lights out, game over tennis.
The Dunlop is working for me. You put in, what strings were in that this time?
Medvedev's Razor Soft,
which
so
I think
consistent.
fresh are insanely good.
Yeah.
They're already a little bit wonky, if you ask me. They're feeling
Simon
a little bit rocket
launching
launcher.
Strings pretty fast these days. Like, he's putting a lot of spin. His backhand's like high and heavy. So he's tough to beat. And when I can't move at all right now because my
body is breaking down,
horrifyingly weak, and I'm really realizing that now. And so I can like hobble around like 2014 Nadal Australian Open, but like 10 times worse.
I really turned 30, and your body just completely broke down, didn't it?
Yeah, because I turned 30 with you, despite being notably younger.
No, the Dunlop is absolutely rocking it for me. The changes that you made to the balance and the weight have turned it into what felt like kind of a boardy old school racket to me. I know it's their spin frame. I wasn't getting huge spin stock. Now I'm getting a really consistently heavy ball, and I'm really enjoying using it. Are we allowed to talk about the Blackout yet?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Could I say what the experience rhymes with?
Yeah.
Wassum?
Awesome doesn't rhyme with any word that I know of.
It is an awesome
It's
racket.
a contender.
It's
So
I might have to switch
like
to it.
Simon's whiteouts are craquet, which is correct, just in translation.
My rackets tend to suffer some abuse, especially in practices. In matches, I don't get angry, which is the weirdest thing. In doubles, I get angry at you because you stop trying. But in singles, I lock in.
Footage of you throwing your racket everywhere on grass.
Well, listen, that's because of you, 100%. And also, grass is soft. You can throw your racket around as long as it doesn't damage the grass. Your racket's going to be fine.
As long as I'm not there, Simon's on his best behavior.
Absolutely. If I don't play with you doubles, perfectly fine. If I play singles, locked in. Practice, complete head case. Because in practice, you're trying to get better. And if you don't feel like you're improving in the hit, it feels like you're just wasting time. When you're in a match, you're saddled with what you got. You just bring that to the table. What comes may come. No problems at all. But anyways, the moral of the story, my whiteouts are completely jank.
And so your contenders for what are you looking for in going forward?
Well put. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm thinking like in the future, looking forward to what potentially you might be wanting out of a racket as your game improves in the, future tense. Where do you want to be looking when that time comes? And should it come, where will you indeed look?
So I've been hitting with the Dunlop a lot recently. Ever since...
I think that's probably his best. Tennis is with the Dunny.
Yeah, the E-Zone 100. I really liked that racket. And then we found this brilliant spot where it was just the perfect racket. And due to the nature of TennCom and changing things, the setup got away from me. And I've never really fallen in love.
I gotta put it back. I think I gotta match the specs of the E-Zone to the Dunny.
I've never really fallen in love with it again like I did for that 2-week stretch when it was just at the perfect spec.
And I haven't either.
No.
Like, I haven't had one good day with it since the review. And, like, it's just what happens sometimes.
There's something that got lost. And I don't know if we'll ever get it back. But it is still a very good racket. I don't think I'd like it as much as the SX300. The other rackets that I really liked, I at one point tried to switch to the Boom MP, and all of my friends and family threatened to disown me. So I moved on from that. And, and besides that, I think the Blackout is just a strong contender. We've got one with a proper-sized baseball grip coming my way. So I'm excited to see what that holds. But it might be down to the Dunlop and the Blackout at this point, because as much as I love my whiteouts, the second gen just didn't speak to me in the same way the first gen did.
They don't quite have the magic.
No.
Shall we move on to the news?
The tennis news, absolutely. This is where we talk about tennis. And today's sponsor for tennis news is Arby's. Arby's.
Well, I think
when you want to make a quick trip to the bathroom, but you don't quite feel like
Trey
it yet.
Sponsor this.
Oh, Trey is going to sponsor our video?
Yeah, we're just going to give him a free one.
Oh.
Because he gave me some of the best news ever yesterday, which I'm not going to share.
Is it that he fixed his car?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a pity thing. So this news podcast, this podcast's news.
This podcast news
is sponsored by
Who's
Tango
it sponsored by?
Tennis.
Oh, it's sponsored by Tango.
Sponsored by Tango.
Oh.
Your number one place to buy cool tennis shirts made by cool guys, Trey and Peter. And Trey's wife put diesel in his gasoline-powered truck, and so he needs a little help.
He does need a little help. They are, Kyle included, objectively way cooler than us. So when they give us clothes, I make sure I throw them on as much as possible until they're completely ruined.
And they've actually held up for you pretty well.
They've held up.
Yeah.
I play in them. I do all sorts of things. I've got one shirt that has slowly just become sweat yellow. But besides that,
it's off-white.
It's off-white and sort of a tank top at this point. It's really shrunken down. I've really B-sided that one from the collection, but podcast brought to you by Tango. Tango, please send us more stuff. I think that's fair to say.
And on to the news.
So the first story, I thought this was really funny. It's actual tennis news. When you Google tennis news, like, it's insane. Tennis has no news. Nobody's doing anything interesting.
Does the slice come up?
No, the slice doesn't even come up, which is brutal. First of all, shout out to the slice. It's like weird gossip forums. It's almost like the magazines talking about the princes and stuff like that. Like it's absolutely bizarre.
The worst articles ever.
So you try and figure out what's happening
to win. Oh, cool.
You try and figure out what's happening, and there's nothing good. There's nothing juicy. But Mads Purcell has been suspended.
Isn't it not Max?
Is it Max?
It's Max.
Is it Max Purcell?
Yeah.
Well, when he's back in 18 months from his vitamin infusion ban, he can tell us. Kyrgios has come out and publicly defended Max Purcell, saying that this is a ridiculous ban and that you should take steroids and not vitamins. People are up in arms about Kyrgios, but to be honest, without really knowing the context of what's in these vitamin infusions, I assume it's just exactly what they say they are.
It's IV drip, right?
Yeah.
Like you got an IV drip and then there was extra IV in it.
I think he took 5x the amount you're supposed to take, which I know probably gives you a benefit. Was he mid-tournament even? I think that he was.
I think it was the off season because like the ban or the titles and winning stripping started in December.
Right. Now I know as a UFC fan, this used to be super popular with fighters. They would strip all their weight, cut all their water out of their body, and then they'd use these IV drips with these infusions in them to get back up to weight really fast and really healthily. But what it turned out was it's actually a really powerful agent at masking other drugs that you're taking. And so the UFC banned IV drips from being part of your regular regimen. I don't know if that's what he did, but on the face of it, it does seem kind of ridiculous that you're getting an 18-month suspension for vitamin infusions. But at the same time, this seems like a pretty open and shut case. I mean, they have obvious rules against it. He did it. He told everyone about it. Like, I mean, I know that you don't feel shame for taking vitamins, but he did break the rules. He did admit to it. The law has to kind of come down on you, I think, one way or the other. And when it's an open and shut case like this, it makes sense that he got the full ban. Do I think it's deserved? Probably not when you're looking at the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, when you look at, like, was his performance significantly increased? Did he suddenly win matches he probably shouldn't have? It's hard to say because it wasn't like he was playing his best tennis during that period.
No, and this would be, I assume, just purely for recovery from training really hard.
Which, to be fair, is when it counts.
Helps the most.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's still just vitamin infusions. I think what's important in the distinction between what's happened with like Sinner and Iga is they hired teams and they gave substantial evidence that they had no idea they took what they took. And so there was this case of did they know, did they not know, the gray area, and that's why they got away with significantly less punishment than Mads Purcell did. But at the end of the day, I think what's really interesting is Kyrgios back in the news and coming out for
is it that interesting?
Abuser.
We know that he's a headline-educated kind of guy, right?
He is. He loves to be in the spotlight. And
the title of the article forms his opinion, not necessarily what's in the article.
Sure. Do you think his opinion would have been different if he didn't know Max?
Of course.
Personally?
All Aussies, scot-free.
I think so
Djokovic,
too.
scot-free.
I think so too.
Because he's a joker simp.
Yeah.
Everyone else, guilty, especially if they've won a slam before Nick.
Okay, well, we'll briefly move on to that and talk about one of the guys you've mentioned, Djokovic. He is now withdrawn from Rome. He's lost in the first round twice in a row now.
That's the first time in many years, if I remember.
Do you think he even shows up at Roland Garros at this point?
I think he shows up at RG because apparently that's... I think he shows up at RG because apparently that's kind of what the deal was with Andy. So Andy would stay on with him until the end of the French. Seeing the clip of Djokovic swearing in what I believe to be Serbian, but I don't know, saying like, fuck this sport.
Yeah, he said
fuck
"Pichku
tennis."
materi,"
Yeah.
which is basically like "fuck your mother," I believe.
Yeah, so like he's clearly not happy on court, and he's appearing to be doing like his best to make it a positive environment, but I don't know if he's got it in him to win at the level that he expects of himself. And I think Roland Garros is either going to be the place where I'm proven wrong or proven right.
That's the thing with the big three, and it always has been. How many times have they looked completely destitute and like they're old shells of themselves in these even 1,000 level tournaments? And really, they just seem to be biding their time for a major. I don't think that's the case this time, to be honest.
I don't either, but if you were on his team, are you saying, Novak, we got to skip the French because your best chances are at Wimbledon?
I don't think anyone's telling Novak anything. Especially,
he did fire like most of his team last year.
I think that he's his own man. I think that if you are going to disagree with him, you do it at your own peril, likely. And if he has anything to prove, I think left, it's getting a couple, even one more title on the French to just etch away at that legend that Rafael Nadal had. I don't see any other motivation he has. I mean, he's won everything else to a degree that no one else has. The only real remaining thing is Rafa dominance on clay. So to me, if I'm him, that's really all that motivates me.
Maybe this will be a pretty exciting French. Like, no one has really proved repeatable results on clay this year except, like, maybe Cerundolo's, like...
Cerundolo's sick, dude. He's demonic. Been absolutely on fire.
But I don't... Like, could he make the final? Maybe, but I see him as, like, semis max. But it could be an absolutely wide open draw. A lot of people are finding form at tournaments and then kind of dropping off and then finding it again. So
this feels like how tennis in theory should be, where it's really, you have very little grasp. We're picking tweener. Shout out to tweener. We're picking tweener picks for most of these tournaments. And every time going in, I feel like I have no idea who's going to make the final.
I'll pick my lineup, and I'll be like, these are a bunch of like great players. And then 2 matches go by, and my field's decimated. It's like not even the ones I think are going to lose. They win.
I can't count the amount of times where I have my top 3 picks taking up most of my money. And then at the end, I'll get a really good result, but it's because of my bottom 3 guys. Yeah. And it's just like absolutely...
It's so hard to predict. The ATP is like bordering on how the WTA used to be, with like how hard it is to predict, how people find insane levels one week, and then the next week it's a complete drop-off.
Yeah, it's chaos. It is fun, and I'm hoping that we can create some storylines out of that. I mean, I know Sinner's coming back. There's a good chance that he just steamrolls everybody. But
that's
at the same time...
He left on a full level ahead of everyone.
At the same time, hasn't played in, what'll this be, 3 months?
Yeah, 3 months. It was a 3-month ban, so...
3 months without a legitimate pro-level match is a long time.
I don't think he needs it.
We'll see. I hope not. I'm a big fan of... I'm a big fan of Sinner. I think he's a killer. I think that, you know, he comes for blood. I think he's going to want to prove a point. You know what? I'm locking it in. My prediction, Jannik Sinner wins the French Open, and Nick Kyrgios posts daily about how he should be banned.
That's a good prediction. What are the odds on that? It's got to be good. So I want to talk about my story now. So Tsitsipas lost to Musetti. Tsitsipas has been playing, I would say, better than he maybe has in the past couple of months. But he says... I don't feel confident in my forehand anymore. And then he kind of went on to say how that's weird for him. Musetti was immediately asked about that comment, and he said, I don't think it's a problem of level. It's a problem of him to find himself. For which, of course, Tsitsipas, in his interview earlier, said that he is a bit lost right now and that he needs to take some time and think about what should be followed next. So Tsitsipas has clearly been in a headspace where things just aren't quite clicking. He's not finding that same, I don't know if it's the killer instinct that he had earlier in his career. And I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think this is 100% mental? Has the field just improved as much as Bublik has said it's improved?
Well, I think all of these guys of this lost gen age probably feel like they let an opportunity slip by. There were a couple years where Nadal was getting noticeably older. Fed had just retired.
It was COVID era.
COVID era. Djokovic often couldn't make it to a tournament due to political stands. There were a lot of opportunities for these guys to make big moves and to pick up a couple titles, and none of them really did. And then all of a sudden,
they picked up a couple thousands.
They picked up a couple,
but that's not the title that you, on your deathbed, think about.
I think it's wrong that the only thing that matters is the majors. I think that we, as tennis fans, have allowed that to dominate the discussion. I think that really tennis as a whole should probably evolve, and the race for number one at the end of a year should be the big thing. Personally, I think like F1, for instance, one of my favorite sports, does that, and it creates storylines in and of itself, because every year you have this race instead of these 4 isolated things that you just wait for, and then they're gone, and only 3 people ever win them, it feels like. And
well, not now.
And it just moves on. But we deal with what we deal with, and they missed that opportunity, and then the lightning rod that is Carlos Alcaraz showed up, and then Sinner came right behind him. And I think it's been hard for these guys.
These guys, late teens, early 20s, who are getting their bodies a little bit now, like Mensik, like Mahach, like Fonseca, they have this kind of level of firepower, but also innate controlled aggression that was simply missing from these guys like Tsitsipas, who can be a bit passive sometimes, doesn't necessarily have the like raw power. Medvedev, who's a pusher. Zverev, who's a pusher. Ruud, who's a pusher. These guys, they don't seem to have that like, I'm going to play my shots as hard as I can, and I trust my personal game. And they just never had this like aura of specialness that I think we're seeing a little bit now with these younger characters. And I think that's got to really hurt the confidence, like seeing these guys get these results. It's got to hurt.
It does, but I do think like the game, all those players you're talking about, they bring back the style of tennis where it's all about imposing yourself, not waiting for the opponent to give you something. But I think Stefanos actually sort of had that game. He was a playmaker. He liked to be on the front foot.
Of the so-called lost gen, I would say, or I guess that they're not the lost gen, they're the next gen. As the so-called first next gen, he was the most playmakery of them, I would say. Like, he had the variety, but he never had the firepower, I don't think. Like, he didn't have that raw RPM depth, easy winner off his forehand. And I think now that he's using Carlos's racket only because it's Carlos's racket, completely stock, if he doesn't have confidence, which you need to swing fast, and you need to swing fast to use a stock racket, you're not going to have a penetrating forehand. And I think he's found that out the hard way.
Yeah, and when I think of where Tsitsipas is out at now, I think of 2 years ago when he played Alcaraz on clay. I think it was Monte Carlo, was it? When he just smashed his forehand as hard as he could right at Alcaraz. Didn't care about getting it in. Or I think about when he played Kyrgios at Wimbledon, and he just tried to take Kyrgios's head off a couple of times. He always had that fire. He always had that I don't give a crap mentality. I will hurt you.
He would take it personally.
I will hurt you if it helps me win this tennis match.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden last year he starts
never really
talking
played
about
well when he had
but it doesn't it's more emblematic of who he was as a person. He wanted to win the match by any means necessary. Yes, sometimes it hurt him, but I think over an aggregate amount of matches it helped him. He had the killer instinct.
Do you think that's just an age thing for him, or he played so many matches and then you lose a little bit of interest in
I
in
think
the
he
game?
got broken. I think he saw this next gen, and I think his confidence cracked, and I think he thought, maybe I can't do this. And then he started talking about how he needs to smile on the court more, about how Alcaraz is always so free and he's having fun, and
Alcaraz
he wanted to
in
he wanted to
Tsitsipas's
replicate that emotion. And he came out with like this friendly Tsitsipas thing, and then now he's going into this mode of he's firing his coaches, he's firing his dad. His dad is back.
Is his dad back?
I think his dad's back. And now he's engaged. Like, he has a lot of stuff going on. He's a successful guy. He's made enough money, I assume, and he's still at a level where he's making good enough money.
What would you recommend to Steph?
Well, I'd ask him, where does he want his career to go? What does he want to do? If he's happy just making quarterfinals...
Well, he's clearly not happy making these quarterfinals, right?
But is it his priority to win a major?
You want to get to the root of, like, what are your actual priorities here?
I think so. I think he needs to ask himself, what's my priority? Because you can still make a great living. He's so talented that even if it's not his priority, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard. Like, he still work hard. But to win these majors against this young generation of players that's so good, you need to be singularly focused, like Djokovic was, like Nadal was, like Federer was. These guys didn't have other priorities. They only had tennis, and they only had winning on the mind. And Tsitsipas, I've never really felt like he's only been about tennis.
He's kind of always had, like,
he's had,
I
like,
wanna
music
do the
and
YouTube, and I'm an artist.
Yeah. He's got a lot of different
Greek
interests.
philosopher on Twitter.
He's funny, too. He's a funny guy. Like, I have always liked Tsitsipas, and I thought he's an interesting character. So, I don't know where he's going to go. I think he can still pick up plenty of, like, 500 level titles along the way. He might pick up a couple 1000s. And I still think on any random occasion, as long as he's still in the mix, he could win a major, but it's going to be really hard.
Shall we move on?
Where does the Aero 98 fit into that?
Why? I don't think Steph should be using a light racket. I don't think he's a fast swing speed type of guy. I don't see that kind of, like, explosiveness necessarily in his swing. I would like to see him maybe go back to whatever spec he had with his blade with that arrow, so he doesn't feel like he's got to swing out of his shoes on every ball to generate depth, power, and spin, so he can play more creatively with this racket that's more stable, more powerful, more spin friendly with his blade, but make it feel a little more natural and at home to the racket that he's been using for so many years, and the racket that he found success with, most importantly.
I agree. So let's move on. Let's quickly talk about what remains in Madrid. So we have the quarterfinals coming up. Zverev's out, which is not necessarily... What?
Finish this podcast in time for it to matter that we talked about Madrid?
Oh, that's a good point. Fine. I will finish this podcast. We have the quarterfinals coming up. We've got Cerundolo in there, who we're both extremely high on.
Train, PT57A classic racket, and he's making huge forehands from all areas of the court.
He's absolutely got Zverev's number. He's 3-0 against him now. He's beat him twice in a row in Madrid. The kid's electric. My only concern is he does tend to get a little bit tight the further the tournament goes. But man, he's exciting to watch.
He's getting a little more ferocious, I think. He's getting a little more ferocious, I think.
Do you think he beats Mensik then?
Yeah.
Straight sets?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to lock in Cerundolo as well against Mensik. I think that it's going to be 3 sets. I think Cerundolo wins the first, gets up in the second, gets tight, loses it, and then comes back and wins in the third, probably 6-3.
Like for Mensik, it's about finding the backhand-to-backhand rally. And for Dolo, it's about the opposite, finding that forehand. Because the Mensik forehand is up and down, I think.
Mm-hmm. Cerundolo's forehand's an absolute cannon.
It's one of the best, a top 5 forehand on tour right now.
And he takes it early, and he just sends
He goes after it.
He is one of those guys. He imposes himself.
Yeah,
he goes,
scary.
I'm going to take this chance. I think I've got a 60% chance to make this shot, and it's going to have a 100% chance of ending the point.
Big damage.
Let's go.
And we love that.
We've got the battle of the pushers, Ruud versus Medvedev. Now, that's an interesting, absolute grind fest, I assume.
It's insane that Medvedev is still in it.
It is, but he's a clay god, so what do you expect from the guy? Do you think he beats the 250 merchant?
No, I think the 250 merchant lives another day.
I think so too. He's got too much spin.
He's been playing
clay.
well on clay as well. He won the UTS at that Epic Stadium.
Yeah.
UTS really matters.
I like the UTS.
So do
I think it's pretty fun.
I think it's a good indicator of level.
I think it's a great product, and they're trying something
I wish
different.
it was like on Amazon or something so we could watch it more easily.
It's hard to watch, but getting the highlights and stuff like that, it seems like a great time. I would go and watch a UTS.
Oh, yeah. If there was one here, and it would be way too expensive, but
yeah,
I would want to go.
Draper Arnaldi. I'm Draper all day.
You have to, but Arnaldi's found some good wins.
He has, but Draper's a weapon. And if he's physically still in it.
He is. His forehand was deadly today.
It was sick. How many winners did he hit? 1 million?
I don't know.
Poor Tommy
Paul.
Paul.
They were all like such margin winners too, like so much net clearance.
Against one of the fastest guys on tour.
Yeah.
Best defenders on tour.
Who defended Fonseca, who we think has this god tier, who he does. But he has an amazing forehand, but Draper just has that experience on how to spread the court, I think.
Do you give any chance to our Canadian boy, Diallo?
Who's he playing?
He's playing Musetti.
No. Musetti's body could give way, I suppose.
Because he's been flirting injury.
He's been fighting harder than I've ever seen any Italian fight.
Will he continue to fight given the Italian Open's up next?
Yeah, I think you're this deep in a 1,000. You haven't won a 1,000. You take the chance.
So who do you think wins Madrid? Who's your pick?
I think probably, to me, Draper looked maybe the scariest, even though clay's not the most natural for him.
Yeah, I agree.
He's probably the last guy. Like, if I pretend that my game is pro level and I'm in the draw, Draper is the scariest for me to play.
Here's my thing. Cerundolo looks good. I just don't have faith that he's going to.
He'll need at least 3 shots in a 1,000 final to convert.
I think so too. Casper Ruud, the most professional guy on tour, absolute grinder. The important thing is his idols are all out. I don't think so. No. He's only made finals in majors and lost those. Has he won a 1,000?
He could win.
I think I'm going to pick Casper Ruud. I think Draper's the other solid pick, but I have a weird feeling Casper Ruud is just going to be...
I don't mind Casper matchup against Draper if they're on opposite halves. Like, I think that's a decent matchup for Casper.
He hits a really heavy topspin ball, and he's going to keep it out of Draper's strike zone.
Well,
he's
Draper's
a great returner.
So tall, like, he doesn't mind a high ball. He likes a high ball, actually.
I don't know. I think that Casper would be a tough matchup for him on clay. I don't think he's won a 1,000.
Yeah, I don't think he has either.
Crazy. I'm picking it. Casper Ruud is going to win his inaugural Masters 1000 tournament in Madrid. And then he's going to go on to win Roland Garros.
All right. So we're playing a game called Tennis String or Condom. The rules are... You decide, is it a tennis string or a condom based solely on the name? It's going to be Simon versus Ali. Whoever gets the most points wins. I'm going to attempt to keep track. Here we go. Number 1, Big Banger Original.
I'm going to go tennis string.
Tennis string for Simon.
I'm going to go condom.
Condom for Ali. So why do you think it's a condom?
Well, I don't know. If I was a condom maker and I was thinking, what's a good expression for my condoms? BB, Big Banger?
BBO?
Original? BBO? Yep. I'll go for that.
All right. It's a tennis string.
Let's go.
It's the first polyester tennis string ever
Dang.
made.
The first poly ever made?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, like generally, yeah.
Luxolon made the first poly?
Luxolon Big Bang original made in Belgium.
Never in doubt.
So it's 1-0. Durex Elite.
Oh, that's going to be a condom.
That's a condom.
All right. So you both have purchased Durex Elite before. It is, in fact, a condom. But it does sound like a tennis string, in my opinion.
It's cheaper than the strings.
Which is a better investment for contraception?
And we
Number
solved
2,
them.
it's Absolute.
Oh, that's a vodka.
That's a string.
I'm going to go condom.
It's a string. Tourline Absolute. Right
Shot
now,
in the dark.
it's 2-1.
Tell us about the Absolute. What kind of string is this?
Tourline Absolute is a polyester. It's black. I believe it's Tourline's softest polyester. But other than that, it's extremely mid in every way. I wouldn't recommend buying it. Sagami Original.
Ooh.
Last time we had an original, it was a tennis string. Will it be a tennis string this time?
I think I'm going condom on this one.
My guess for this game is string because it sounds like a Toro line name. So yeah, I'm gonna go with string.
Ali's locking in strings. Simon's locking in condom. And he extends his lead.
Let's go.
It
That's a
is
big box of condoms.
3-1 Japanese super thin condom.
Wow.
Almost 5 stars out of 48. 6 reviews. Pretty good.
Max
Here we go.
power.
Max power.
String.
It has to be string.
That was an easy one. It is indeed a string Kirschbaum Max Power. I believe used by Francisco Cerundolo.
Really?
Yeah. You hated it.
I did not like it at all. I thought it was...
All right. You knew what this was.
Yeah.
My bad.
My knowledge is too good.
NXT Natural.
Wait, what's the score here?
The score is 4-. I haven't been keeping track very well. I think it's 4-. Did you get that last one? No.
I got that last one.
I think it's 4-3 then?
It's 4-2 then.
4-2?
Yeah.
For me?
Yeah.
Nice.
You got a 2 condom lead.
Excellent.
NXT Natural.
Has to be a condom.
Ooh. That does feel like a condomy name.
Yeah.
I could see the advertisement right now. Feels like the skin you're in. But I think I'm going to go for a string.
Simon extending his lead.
Let's go.
I will admit, natural is the color of this string, so it was a little misleading.
What's a natural color here? Because
Whitish.
is he?
The only acceptable skin color.
What is this string? I've never tried this one.
It's a multi-filament.
You
You would
comfort.
not like it.
For natural feel.
Iron grip.
I hope that's
You would
not
hope
a
it's a tennis
condom.
string, right?
Yeah. I'm going to lock in tennis string as well.
Tennis string.
We got 2 for tennis string, and we got 2 incorrect. It's
oh
a condom.
my God.
It's gotta be
Is it
the worst condom ever.
Is it a condom and also one of those things that you tie on so that the blood stays, or what's going on here?
It's clearly designed for maximum damage.
Just like we want string reviews, you should have been trying these products so that you could give us your full thoughts on these as well. Comment below if you want to see Beckett's condom reviews.
Oh my God. All right. Glide Super Max.
I feel like right now I just gotta go pick one and then just stick to it.
Mm.
There's no strategy to this game.
Condom.
I'm going to go... I should just be covering her off now since I have such a big lead, but
Yeah.
I just have a feeling that this is a string.
It is indeed a condom.
No!
Glide sounds like snapback. That's why I picked it.
I thought that it was going to be something new age, next
Ali.
gen.
Like lube, so.
Something that
does.
we have an affiliate code for. Come on.
Ali closing down the gap to back to 2, so it's 5-3 here.
Excellent, excellent.
Rigged.
On banana.
Condom. Has to be a condom.
Ali has locked in condom.
I would say Japanese condom.
I think it's condom as well.
Japanese.
I'm going to go condom.
2 condoms, 2 correct.
Oh, let's go. I thought maybe Federer had decided to sponsor Nadal, but
He's got buttons
I'm glad I got
on
that
it
right.
to turn it on. Yeah.
I don't know why this is an orange banana, but it's on sale. Champion's choice.
String.
I'm going to go condom.
This is one of the most famous string setups of all time, used by the great Roger Federer. It's Champion's Choice Hybrid 16 Natural Gut with Alu Power Rough.
If I were to ever buy a condom, I would want it to be Champion's Choice.
I think they should include a condom with every set of Champion's Choice.
I think so. You get your well, not with every set. That's not feasible. Come on, but every reel, 1 reel, 2 condoms.
Do you think racketaholics are getting laid enough that they need 1 condom per set?
No, well, clearly Ali thinks that it's 2 sexes per entire reel.
2 sexes
Unless
per
you're
reel is a
rinsing
pretty
it
good
out
rate.
and reusing it.
Well, if you're buying the new Eco string,
Yeah.
that might be something that you're into. Who knows?
All right. So Ali got that correct.
Mm.
And now it's only a 1-point lead. Simon is Dimitroving right now.
I'm not worried. I'm going to win. How many picks do we have left? Or was that it?
That might have... Wait. Here we go.
Oh.
Banana bite.
Ooh. Wait.
I'm gonna say all banana choices are condom choices. This is a condom.
It's a good pick. I'm going to go condom as well.
2 condoms. 2 incorrect. String con. Banana bite. It's a tennis string.
Who makes this?
String Kong. I've never tried it. I have no idea if it's good. I heard a viewer, someone in their string consultation said they use String Kong banana bite.
I
And
think
was
we
like,
need
what?
to get this for a test.
I think so. String Kong and then the on banana condoms combination.
All right, next podcast sponsored by String Kong banana bite. Passante, strawberry. We're deep in the food themes.
I'm going condom.
I'm going condom too.
You're both correct.
Ooh, Passante.
Passante. And I think that was it.
Which means I've won.
Simon
Let's go!
maintained the victory.
And I've won the inaugural 10
First
games.
ever game.
The 10 games have been won by me, and I don't foresee myself losing for quite some time.
As the most competitive person on this couch, what's your response?
I'm pretty sure he saw the condoms before, so I'm okay.
So that was the first ever, and so far it's our best podcast ever.
I would agree with
I just
that.
want to say. That was the first ever TennPod. And if you've got questions, we're going to answer a bunch of questions on the next one. We're going to pin a comment to this video. Leave the pin. If it's a top upvoted question, we will answer it.
Absolutely. We have no idea if you guys will like this or not, but it's something different that we want to try and hopefully keep doing. So,
And much like Doug, the more controversial the question, the more likely we'll pick it.
absolutely. Let us know what you guys think. Leave your comments, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Oh, that was